Seen. Radiation seeping out and heat threatening a greater catastrophe. Jason Farrell, Sky News.
Well, as the authorities in Japan try to work out the best way to tackle the emergency, Sky News invited two men who work in the British nuclear industry to have a look at the crisis, see how it's been handled so far, and tell us how they would attempt to solve it.
The incident at the plant was a major incident, without a doubt. It's very important to note that in the first instance, the safety systems operated as they should, and it was the tsunami that provided the bulk of the damage.
The top of the roof was blown off in reactor 1. This reactor, the first one to go.
The release of radiation was measured around the site. There was a marginal increase in the ambient radiation level. There wasn't an increase in the risk to off-site personnel in the general environment. There wasn't even an increase in the risk to the operators at that point.
Reactor 3 was causing problems. In this case, again, there was an explosion, a larger explosion and more damage, again at roof level, and although it looks dramatic here, it was largely in light structures at the top of the building. It did not damage the containment that the reactor was in or the shielding that was around it. The spike in radiation from reactor 2 was larger, and this was the first time when they thought about removing people from site and withdrawing them and getting them out of harm's way.
As a result of that, protective measures would have been put in place for all individuals within the perimeter fence. And so all staff would be wearing personal protective equipment to minimise the impact of the contamination, the loose contamination. So that would either be through contact or by breathing or ingesting it.
On reactor 4, this reactor is different from the other three. It wasn't operating when the earthquake hit. In fact, it was shut down for maintenance and had been shut down for some months. And during the autumn, before Christmas, they had defueled the reactor and put the fuel into cooling ponds, which are up at this level.
The fuel ponds are used for cooling the fuel once they come out of the reactor. The position of the fuel ponds in these Japanese reactors is quite unique in being positioned above the reactor.
The fuel is covered in those ponds. The decay heat is heating them up. It is a problem, hot fuel rods and no water to shield the people who want to work at the top of the reactor.
And the first significant thing from the side of radiological protection is that this is not a contained system. So this is really the first loss of containment, if you like, the water being the means of containing contamination from fuel elements.
This is about 80 feet up in the air, quite a deep pool. Need to get water in there. There's again no electricity on site, there's no pumps, no access to put the pipes up there, and so people have been ingenious, if you like. They identified the key issue, which is keeping the fuel cool, and the question is how to get it in there. There has been some water that's got into this area, and this will have been useful in providing some level of cooling to give more time, but it's not the solution to the problem. We need to get about at least 1,000 tons of water up into these ponds to cover the fuel and then re-establish the 8 meters or so of water above the fuel, which gives the protection, the shielding against the radiation to people working in the area. That is the focus, and that's not yet been accomplished.
You have probably about 3 feet of concrete to shield operators when they're working within the pile cap area on the top of the reactor. So in a normal operation, that would allow the guys operating the plant to get around without receiving a dose of radiation from the fuel.
It's well known that fuel that's come out of the reactor, it is hot. If it's taken out of water for a long time, it's closely packed. There is at least a conceivable, a theoretical, a possible chance of the fuel heating up so much that the cladding around it actually takes fire. The zirconium, you have a metal fire with zirconium burning. And the concern about that would be that this fire in this area would mobilize the fission products in the fuel and spread those around the site and around the area, the local area, and we would have what is moved from what is a desperate situation on the site to a public health hazard. At the moment, it's not a public health hazard. That could be.
This is Sky News at 10. Still to come, we'll see what's on the front pages of tomorrow morning's newspapers.
Here's a question for you. Is this rather sorry-looking bouncy castle a bit like your cash ISA, i.e. not full to capacity? Well, if you fill up your ISA by the 5th of April, you can enjoy tax-free savings on anything up to £5,100. Up it goes. Oh, blimey. Here she is. Yeah, shoes off. Good. Always take your shoes off. Health and safety. Take one small step to filling up your ISA and get in touch with Barclays.
Our planet is alive with data. It's generated by cars on a motorway, patients in a hospital, electricity in the grid. The more we understand data, the more answers we find. Patterns are easing traffic in over 400 cities, detecting disease faster, reducing energy costs by 10%. On a smarter planet, we can analyze all the data we now see to make the world work better. Let's build a smarter planet.
They're seriously strong spreadable too.
The Tesco Club Card credit card allows you to collect Club Card points on whatever you buy, wherever you buy it. The Tesco Club Card credit card, your way to collect even more Club Card points. Tesco Bank, every little helps.
The Top Gear magazine car of the year is not a flame-ejecting supercar. It is not made of gold-plated carbon fiber. And no, it is not equipped with a backseat champagne bar. It is something altogether more remarkable. It is the Citroën DS3.